Star Citizen's February roadmap is here, detailing all the epic stuff we can expect in the game in 2023. Well, maybe not exactly. When they initially described the February roadmap reveal, I was expecting to see a detailed write-up of all the cool things that they were going to try and get into the game this year. But it seems that CIG is...
Yes, real life brothers. It's not fake news. Thank you. Thank you, Mostly Beef. I appreciate those biddies, bro. I can eat and live a little bit longer because of you. Thank you.
Following their new policy to remove the long-term goals from the progress tracker release view, as players were getting upset when deadlines were missed.
What's the other 1%?
So instead, we're getting a very reduced version of the roadmap, and honestly, I gotta say this update sort of feels like someone forgot to do their homework and threw something together in the last 10 minutes before it was due. The information given here is pretty minimal, which is annoying because they seem pretty comfortable speaking about the goals for the year in most other formats, whether it's a letter from the chairman or CitizenCon or Inside Star Citizen or Star Citizen Live, but then they don't put that info into a chart where players can access that data in an easy to read format. Instead, you gotta sift through the more expanded progress tracker hoping that it's up to date.
Thank you, DEF CON, for gifting our Supermod Red Bear. Thank you. My life force has grown that much larger because of you. Thank you.
Look at old forum posts and YouTube videos and try and piece together an idea of what's really planned for this year. Now, this February roadmap update is at least giving us some short-term info about what to expect. Patch 3.18, which is still in PTU testing, is now being extended for another cycle. That's not to say that it's going to be in PTU testing for a whole nother cycle, but rather that they're anticipating needing an extra patch cycle to further refine the update once it launches and collect data.
No. I mean, like, it's gonna be that way for a bit. They're in this phase right now. We watched a Board Gamer video where they talked about persistent entity streaming and how the introduction of it kind of janked a few things up, and they got to iron out a lot of the new bugs hitting this patch. And I think that's why they extended the cycle. Personally, it makes a lot of sense to me. It's a bummer. I'm waiting for 4.0. I'm a step ahead of everybody.
Data from its larger deployment. Obviously, this news is disappointing, but kind of predictable. Patch 3.18's new persistent tech, which honestly is worth the wait, also kind of broke just about every single aspect of the game, and the bugs are extensive. Plus, the long-term effects of persistence are almost certainly going to inject even more issues into the game that we still don't know about. So the next patch after 3...
And we still want it anyway, because that's what we want, and we're getting what we want. They're not substituting something different. From the beginning of time, we wanted persistence in this way. They're giving it to us the best way that they can, right? I hear a lot of content creators bitching about it, and it's like, this is what we asked for. We asked for this. It is going to take some time to figure this out. It's a drag. It sucks. But this level of persistence that we want hasn't been done before in gaming. Wrap your head around it. Wrap your head around that. Okay? They're hitting a wall, and they're trying the best they can to get through this wall, right? They're not going around it. They're not trying to give us some type of substitute, right? They're saying, this is what you asked for. This is what we're going to give you. Now, if they can do that, then I can be patient, right? If they can actually face this head on and try and give us what it is that we originally wanted, that we told them we wanted, and they're doing that, then we have to expect this, and we have to be patient a little bit, guys. Thank you. Thank you. DEF CON gifting the Eradicator. That's love. That's love. That's love.
3.18 won't be rolling out until before Invictus launch week, which means probably around May or something like that. That patch, 3.19...
They weren't bitching about persistence, they're bitching about the time that it's taking to get there, Erad.
Will tentatively bring the Lorville rework, which is a total overhaul of the first major landing zone in Star Citizen. It'll bring a new player experience initiative.
Next time, it's gonna be glass.
I love it. Every time I see that alert, I want to watch some Kung Fu.
designed to make the first 30 minutes of playing the game less confusing, new salvage mission contracts to help expand the salvage gameplay further, and a new Ghost Hollow PvP mission experience. Things like persistent hangars, bounty hunting updates, or even the recently discussed Arena Commander updates, which are expected to be coming this year, are not listed here, so I guess we shouldn't expect that content in the first half of the year, or maybe they just forgot to mention it. Part of me still feels that this very simplistic roadmap update isn't particularly detailed, and I would imagine smaller, lesser known about, or hidden updates will...
It's not detailed for two reasons. One, the people who are assigned to it did not want to take the time out to go into the nitty-gritty details, which they should. And if that's the reason, then I'm shaming, right? I'm just going to shame. They should have. They absolutely should have gone into that detail.
Shame.
The other reason is they're completely sick of the fan base because they're way too trolly and they're like, fuck you guys. I mean, secretly, the developers hate us, all of them.
Emerge over time. They even kind of allude to this in the post, saying, due to some format changes to the data we use for Progress Tracker, our update for both upstream and downstream teams in 2023 needs a bit more time to get sorted.
They love us.
You can expect these updates to come in subsequent publishes. Basically them saying, there's more to this, but we just didn't have time to get it organized for the post. Now, out of the things that were listed for 3.19, the Ghost Hollow PvP experience sounds like it'll be the most fun to me. I feel Star Citizen's gameplay is still the best when there's PvP opportunities, and I think we need more events that provide those. Yep. Ghost Hollow is really a cool location, and
I'm going to give some applause to that. I absolutely agree with Level Cap on that. Absolutely. Areas of interest with more PvP opportunities is what makes a sandbox MMO a great sandbox MMO. I want sand overflowing out of the box. I want sand all over the place, out of the box, around the box, a couple miles away. In fact, I want it like the Sahara. If I can have that type of sandbox, excellent.
Frankly, I've only been there a handful of times, and it was running missions that I wouldn't normally do just so I could see the location. So having more excuses to use this location is welcome. Players will be encouraged to fight over control.
Guys, that's so crude and I love it. That is so crude and I love you all. Thank you so thank you. You entertain me. You understand? You entertain me. I entertain you. This is just a beautiful symbiosis of love. It's sticky. It's sticky.
Terminals for a large payout, and it sounds like even AI will be thrown into the mix. And forced PvP will be interesting for sure. Anything to change up the somewhat stale Jumptown gameplay. Now, the new player experience update that they're working on sounds...
Why is it stale? Why is it stale Jumptown gameplay?
Great. Obviously not particularly interesting to veterans, but the game has been in desperate need of a built-in onboarding experience. It does sound like it's coming before some of the other major UI overhauls, so it's possible the new player experience will require considerable updates as the game changes with new interfaces, but anything to make the learning curve, well, more curvy is welcome. Fun fact, Star Citizen used to have a flying tutorial, but it just got super outdated and then they removed it entirely. I hope this new player experience system doesn't take too much work to actually keep it relevant. Now, the Lorville rework, which they've been showing off in various Inside Star Citizens...
Listen. The new player experience doesn't have to be super, expansive and super in-depth. It just has to give you, a light smattering of, here you go, and hold your hand for a couple seconds, minutes, and... there needs to be some onboarding experience that's easier than what it is now. There just has to be. One thing that I would highly recommend is that they actually bring the onboard process to the game. So you download the actual game. Okay, you download it from the Roberts website. Have the ships in the game. Have the ships purchasable in the game. Just have them purchasable in the game. Like most other titles right now. The DLC content's all put into the game. Why not have the ship pledges in the game? Why go to a website even? Just have them in the game. Purchasable in the game. I don't understand it. One thing that I love about Web3, one thing that I love about gaming that's going to involve crypto and Web3 blockchain gaming is that all that can be easily done in the game with a wallet. Done. Boom. And you own it. So that's one up for Web3 in the space, for real.
does sound cool from the eye candy perspective, but generally speaking, there still aren't many reasons to visit major landing zones on the reg, so I can't say that I'm super excited about this part of the update. These salvage missions do sound cool and necessary. Salvage is one of the new gameplay loops coming in 3.18, but there isn't really any sort of way to get into salvage without knowing exactly where you need to go to find the wrecks. So these new missions should offer a better and more consistent way of salvaging and learning about salvaging. I feel like mining could also use the exact same type of mission introductory system. Now,
all the onboarding process can be done through the missions as well. I still think there should be some type of introductory, like what planet you're picking, and then like an introductory sequence where you come into the game for the very first time, and that's that, and it's done and it's over with. I think there still needs to be that, and then all the other onboarding processes can be within the missions, can just be PvE grind. And that's it, you know, whether it comes to mining or salvaging or the different genres of whatever it is that you're choosing as a profession, you know.
For the immediate future, patch 3.18 hitting live is still by far the most exciting update for the year.
I'm glad it's
and this might sound a little underwhelming on the surface, but 3.18 really is worth the wait, in my opinion.
It is, absolutely.
In fact, now that I've put some real hours into playing on the test servers with the new persistent system, where ships, bodies, and loot all persist indefinitely, I'm finding it very hard to go back to the old universe. The old 3.17 universe feels static by comparison. And the cool emergent activities in 3.18 multiply the gameplay opportunities massively. Also, because 3.18 is bringing the new Gen 12 render system, I would expect a lot of performance improvement updates between its release and the next major updates as they progress towards Vulkan. These would probably be some of those things that weren't mentioned on the progress tracker for the 3.19 update. Now, a concern with all of this news is that the initial delay of this year, with 3.18 taking so long to get out the door and pushing patch 3.19 back to almost the midpoint of the year, means that the amount of things that are allegedly coming in 2023 seem like they're getting crammed into a much tighter launch window, which likely means some of them probably won't be making it out this year. Bounty hunting updates, persistent hangars, new EVA mechanics, arena commander updates, star map updates, and dare I even mention server meshing and pyro, those items feel less and less likely to be seen this year as the extremely slow start to 2023.
Yeah, that work is still happening, by the way, in the background. That work has never stopped happening. They've been doing that work for a long time. They just haven't shared a lot of that, you know? That's for good reason. I think that we got to continue to focus on game mechanics. I think you just have to work on game mechanics, continue to nail it down, and to make sure that the flight experience is what we want, the movement of your character, the flow, the feel. We got to continue to focus on that, get that pinned down, and obviously they're going to be working a lot on persistence this year. And that's great. And he's right. Level Cap's right. Like the change from 3.18 to 3.17 is vast. And I don't think people understand what's happening right now. It's a pretty big moment for Star Citizen.
Continues, but who knows, maybe this February roadmap update really is kind of misleading, and that there's actually a ton of hidden, not mentioned features that will be coming before and during 3.18 and 3.19 updates. Of course, I wish the developers lots of luck with the 3.18 live launch, and I hope that they are able to crack down on those remaining problems as fast as possible. I'm very excited for this live launch and to start rebuilding my reputation and arsenal of weapons and gear after everyone's character is wiped. I think the content and cool things that will come from 3.18 are going to reflect the next stage of evolution for this game, and I am absolutely ready for it. Let me know your
I mean, look how far it's come, for God's sake. I still get people who say this game is a scam. I got a comment the other day from a dude who's like, oh, this $500 million scam, it's never going to get finished. And I'm like, did you guys not see how far they've come? Like, it just baffles my mind. It baffles my mind.
Thoughts on 2023 and Star Citizen. Do you have high hopes, or are you playing it safe and keeping your expectations in check? Also, go watch this video next, where I show off every single firearm in Star Citizen. They're pretty cool and way more detailed than you might think. As always, thanks for watching.
Like, we've come so far. It's just ridiculous that I still see that it's a scam. Like, there's over 1,000 people, multiple locations. We just got a new ship team. Like, my God, like to call this a scam at this point is just ignorant, or they're looking to troll. They're just looking to troll and they want the reaction. But anyway, that was a good video by Level Cap. I'm going to give that a thumbs up. I actually enjoyed that. I thought that was very well produced and great talking points. Let's get to the next one, Pepe.